Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be giving you the deal of the week, Lakemont. This is Jimmy and I's favorite house we've done lately. Truly illustrates why it is great to be a private lender sometimes versus being an actual real estate investor, right? But it still works for us too.
Last week we talked about a home run. This week we're going to talk about some of the downside of being a real estate investor and how you mitigate the downsides and why sometimes being a private lender is just a fire and forget. And it's a nice place to be.
Okay, so a little bit about the property. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's a slab house with 1,632 square feet. You can see it's kind of funky, mid-century property, kind of an inverted roof line there, but a great neighborhood in St. Louis, very stable area. We ended up buying this property.
How much land there? It looks like they have a little bit of land.
It's maybe a quarter-acre lot, nothing huge, but it's definitely larger than your average. There's actually a nice little pond slash mini lake in the backyard that about 10 houses all join. So yeah, cool little house. For those who are familiar with St. Louis, here's the location down south in Arnold, just outside of 141, just southwest of that. But a great pocket to invest in. Jefferson County, Arnold, you can still pick up stuff pretty cheap, and rents are relatively high, so great cash flow pocket within St. Louis. Where do we find this deal? Well, we do a lot of networking with other real estate investors in the area, and this was another investor who's a pretty big rehabber. They've got their own rental portfolio as well, and they just had too many deals going on, too many big projects going on, ended up wholesaling the property to us. And for those who aren't familiar with wholesaling, basically, they made a small margin and ended up selling the house as is to us and got out of the deal pretty quickly.
It means flipping without fixing to the layperson.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so how do we determine what a property is worth? Well, it's pretty simple. It's a little bit of an art and science, but a lot of science. And we go into the multiple listing service. That is the website that all the real estate agents use to buy and sell properties and record all the transactions. Well, when we go in here, we end up searching for properties in the area that are similar. And when we say similar, we mean, pretty much a ranch like this one within, we typically go 20% less on the square footage and 20% higher. So this is 1,630 square feet. I don't think we searched any houses that were anywhere between, what's the range here? 1,440 on the low end up to 1,840 square feet. So you got a little bit of a spread. But you can see most of the homes in this area, ours is located right around here, are selling between $116,000 on the low end to $170,000. And our total investment on this property was $35,000. So you can tell that is a huge, huge margin. When you're buying properties that cheap, there's really not a whole lot that can go wrong. It's a pretty safe deal. That equates to a loan-to-value ratio of 30%. You take the $35,000 investment or loan that you have on the property relative to the total value of the property, and we took the low mark. There were some comps there in the high 160s, but we took 116 just to be safe, so it's probably even less than that. So 30% in the end is a very, very safe kind of deal. And
this investor, this was his first private money loan, so it was something nice and safe. It was $35,000. We showed him $116,000 comp, so he sleeps well at night.
Yeah. You can't give much better than that, because if things go south, he ends up taking back a property that could potentially be worth $160,000 to $150,000.
If you were wholesaling this, what do you think you could get for it?
I mean, you'd definitely be able to liquidate what we sold for. We just don't wholesale anymore because we got a better system now, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that we look at is what can we rent the property for? And here's some rental comps of properties that were leased recently in the area. Similar square footage again, similar bedrooms, similar bathroom count, and they range anywhere between $1,050 a month upwards of $1,500 a month. So again, plenty of cash flow here to support the property and everything. Anyways, we bought this property, and within, I'd say...
And would you say that's our two indicators?
Oh,
what's the comp and what's it going to rent?
Yeah, those are the two pillars of how we're buying a property. Yeah, are we getting equity day one, and will it cash flow? If you can cover your two bases there, you're golden. But guess what happened 2 weeks after we bought the property? Uh-oh. Disaster struck. The garage ended up burning down in a random electric fire about 2 in the morning on a Saturday night. Fire department was called out, and as you can tell, it didn't end too well. But guess what? Our private lender who loaned us the money still gets their monthly check each and every month, even when the house is sitting here just like this in a burned down state of absolute disrepair and with the property sitting vacant. So this is one of the times where it's really great to be in the private lender's shoes.
It's also a good time when it's really great to purchase insurance.
Yeah.
And before this, we hated writing the insurance check. We hated paying. It's like nothing bad will ever happen. And we're going to talk about this in other YouTube videos. It was a black swan event. It happened. But we bought a put called insurance. And because there was a fire, we exercised our put. And no one will praise their insurance agent until a disaster strikes. And my mom is our insurance agent. She did a great job, and we praised her after this, even though we begrudgingly were writing her checks every month.
Give a little shout out to Ann here. But that's the great thing here is
even if you're new to real estate investing, it's gonna be horrible when you're running cash flow numbers to pay that insurance, but pay the insurance.
Oh, you have to, yeah. And that's the great thing is whenever we close on a property, insurance is placed day one. So in case anything like this ever happens, everybody's covered. And the private lender is named as the additionally insured on the property. So the private lender their investment is completely secured. If this property had burned completely to the ground and absolutely nothing was left, the private lender is still going to get their entire investment back. And in same scenario, let's say a tenant is going through an eviction, or the property is just sitting vacant for whatever reason. As a private lender, you never have to deal with those situations. You're getting your interest check, whether the property is burned to the ground or whether it's occupied or not. So that's what's great about that kind of situation. Okay, so we ended up finding a tenant.
Found a tenant buyer while it looked like that.
Right? Yeah. We've got a really great, unique system here with the rent-to-own program, and the great thing about doing a lease option is there's huge demand for it. You're basically targeting an extremely motivated pool of buyers that pretty much no other investors, real estate agents, or home sellers are talking to. Because when most people think about selling their house, they think about selling for cash right now. And great, I love cash. Jimmy loves cash. We all love cash.
I love cash.
But if you can be patient and wait a little bit, you're going to make way more money, right? That applies to any type of whatever.
As an Austrian economist, you need to lower your time preference.
Yes, there you go. Jimmy comes in with a win.
We're going to do another video about time.
So anyways, we ended up finding a lease option tenant buyer in the property. He drove by it while it was burned down. And we ended up signing a deal to get $3,000 non-refundable option deposit up front. And he's paying $900 per month. And you say, well, you could have rented that house out for $1,050, $1,500 based upon comps. This guy's
the garage was burnt down.
Garage was burnt down, yeah. So to be able to turn a disaster like this into a cash flowing asset.
Because I think he wants to add on to the house, right?
Yeah. He's a contractor.
He liked that the garage was burnt down.
Yeah.
He saw it as square footage he could do something else with.
Helped him out a little bit. And the tenant buyer is also responsible for all the ongoing repairs and maintenance. So there's no headaches or hassles going down the line. We don't have to worry about any of that. And that just makes our whole operation much more efficient and much more scalable. That's why we can go fast. Okay, so if you want to find out more about us, head on over to jointopsproperties.com. Go to email us at jointopsproperties@gmail.com. You give Jimmy a ring there. He'll talk to you day and night. Give him a call at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30. His wife loves that. And you're not going to be able to reach me. So sorry, folks. This is all you get.
Bob is the enigma.
Later.